Don't think you can write a book? I'm here to tell you that you absolutely can, and I'm going to give you several different ways to write a book. Now, why would you want to write a book in the first place? Um, One thing is you can call yourself an author, and author comes from the word authority. So when you author a book, you're automatically given that authority just by having a book, just by being able to call yourself an author, having a book out that you can show people instantly gives you that credibility, instantly positions you as an expert in the field around the topic of that book. So having a book is a really good idea if you want to enhance your brand and you want to become known for what you know. It's a really good idea. So, why else would you need a book? If you're in business, a book is a great way to give out as a name card. If you have a book, like I've got one here, and I hand this to a client, this is a great way to give them a name card that they will remember forever, because you're actually giving them extra value because you're giving them the contents in the book as well. All right. And it's not just a name card that they can discard as soon as you leave their office. All right. So I talked about, it's all well and good saying, yeah, and it's great to be an author. I'd love to be an author. Maybe I've tried it in the past, didn't work out. So I want to take you through some ways that you can do it. Some are do it yourself and some are done for you services. But either way, there are several ways that you can get a book out for yourself in a fraction of the time you think it's going to take you, and without all the heartbreak of having to mostly do it yourself, or the perception that you might have of what it's like to be an author of a book and to actually write a book itself. It's not such a big deal. It's not such a great big huge project as you might think it is. And I'm going to take you through now why that is so. So what the first thing you can do is, the obvious one is you write it yourself. Now, if you're not a great writer, hang on for the next sections and we'll talk about how else you can get a book out. But if you think you can write, but you're a little bit skeptical and you're thinking, I haven't got time for this, or I don't like writing, I can write if at a push, but I don't really like it, then I'm here to take that worry away from you, because like one of my books, this 11 Reasons Why Your Business is Not Growing, I wrote this in a weekend, basically. So it's quite a thick book. There's, how many pages is it? It's 125 pages, but it has illustrations, in parts of it as well. Okay, so you can see here you've got illustrations, etc. So, but basically, yeah, it's quite a good size book, but I wrote it in a weekend. Now, how did I write it? So first thing I did was I did outlines. I just listed, okay, if I was to teach people 11 reasons why they might be stuck running a business, if I was to teach them 11 reasons why the business isn't growing, I just thought back to all the reasons I saw from the clients I'd met in the past of 20 years copywriting, the business owners I met, and the common mistakes I saw being made as they built their business. And I collated all of these common mistakes that I just saw, they're common, right? People are making them all the time. So I thought it would be good to put those in a book so that people can avoid those common mistakes. So what I did was I did an outline. So I just listed the mistakes they made. So I came up with 11 mistakes, and that just became the structure of the book. So from there, it was a case of, for each topic, they became chapters. Basically, each of the 11 ideas became a chapter by itself. And then with each chapter, I then just fleshed out ideas of what I could put in and divide those up into subtopics. So you have your outline of your 11, in my case, 11 topics, and then under each topic, subtopics that I could include. And that becomes a very structured, easy to follow, easy to read book. Now, you don't have to have a really thick book either. It just needs to be a signature book that talks about your expertise, shows people that you're an expert in your subject matter. Doesn't have to be really, really long. All right. But that's definitely the way to go about it, is to do the outline, and then just tackle each chapter by chapter, or even subtopic by subtopic, and just get them written. Tackle the easiest ones first, the ones that will come really easy to you in order to get the information together and write. Do those first. You don't have to, and this is, I think, one of the biggest mistakes people make in writing a book, and what's their biggest downfall and what stops them, is they try to write the book in chronological order, start at the beginning and finish at the end. It's a great idea, but that's the way you're going to fail at writing a book, because if you hit a particular mark in the book where you're kind of stuck and you think, oh, okay, I've got to do some extra research on this, whatever, you may then stop and never actually go back and finish the whole thing. So you want to look at it as a collection of pieces. So each of the subtopics is one piece of the collection. And then you just write that section, put that aside. Then write the next section you find easy, put it aside. Write the next section, put it aside. And before you know it, you're going to have a whole chapter outlined with all those sections. And then you tackle the next chapter, you do the same thing. You don't even have to do it chapter by chapter in order. You might find chapter 8 is the easiest chapter to describe in your book. So you start with chapter 8. And you don't even have to finish a full chapter before you go on to another chapter also. So just find the easiest things to write, and then you can move them around in your document, organize them in the order they should be, and then edit from there. So you always, when you're writing a book, you've got two modes the brain works in, really. So when you're in writing mode, just write. Don't worry about spelling mistakes, grammar, any of that. Just get the information out onto the screen, onto the page, whatever, however you're doing your book. Just get that information out of your head and down on paper or computer. Once it's out of your head, then you can start to organize it, and then later you come back with a fresh pair of eyes and you edit to improve flow, improve the sentence structures, make it more readable, make it easier to understand, fill out maybe gaps that you might have in between because you've been doing things in different orders. So that's a way to do that. So that's a great way to write a book if you want to do it yourself. All right. It is not, just think of it as each chapter or each subtopic would be an essay that you wrote at school, right? We can all write essays. Maybe we didn't enjoy doing them, but it's something that you can do. And if you just chunk it down into little tasks, one at a time, and you don't try and, do the whole thing all in one go, you are going to end up with a book that you can sell, whether it's on Amazon or you get a book publishing deal or whatever. Then you will have your book. You will have your book ready and it's there for you. All right. So writing yourself is possible. If it's something that you think you can do, just by giving yourself a couple of hours every week to work on it, very soon you'll have the book ready. As I say, this one took me the weekend. I just wrote it out on the weekend. It took me longer to get it all laid out and ready for publishing, especially getting the formatting done on Amazon. That, as a first-time author, that took a bit of learning. That was a learning curve. Then I wrote my second book actually on how to publish a book on Amazon, because I had so much trouble doing it. It was such hard work, wasted so much time making mistakes on layout, that I decided to write a book to teach people how to avoid those mistakes as well. All right, so that is writing it yourself. All right, so you can write it yourself. The next way is you can hire a ghostwriter. Now, what is a ghostwriter? A ghostwriter is somebody who will write the book for you. They're a professional writer. They do that for a living. They'll write the book for you. Their name won't go on it. It will still be your name. This is why we call it a ghostwriter. You don't get to see the actual writer's name. All right, so if you hire a ghostwriter, what I'd suggest you do is still do the outlining that I just outlined for the writing it yourself. Get your outline together, get your chapters in order, outline how you want the book to flow, and maybe give the subtopics as well. You can actually list out the subtopics, then give that whole thing to the ghostwriter, ask them to go and research around extra information that they could put in. If you're not going to give them everything, they can go and research as well. You give them that research, they'll go and write it for you. Now, obviously, there's a cost involved there. You have to negotiate with the ghostwriter how much it's going to cost. I would negotiate for a fixed fee that they provide, and then you have to have a sign off where you're happy with the final version. Now, you could do this in two sections. You can get a writer to write it for you with the understanding that they're going to be doing most of the meat of the full book. Then you hire separately an editor to edit, to improve the flow, the grammar, make sure there's no spelling mistakes, things like that. All right, so obviously that is going to be an investment of money for you. You're going to have to pay these people to write and edit for you. But if you really don't want to do it yourself and you have the funds, then definitely you can get that done and written for you. Okay, next way to do it is write a collection of other people's stories. So this could be, if you're a coach, for example, you could showcase all of your different clients and you could put their stories into a book that showcases your expertise as the coach and their expertise in the fields that they do and how they became successful doing what they do because of your support as well. You could do it that way. But regardless, whatever the theme, have an overall theme of the book. And then you want to collect other people's stories, either 10 or 20 stories, get them to write the stories. So you're not writing anything at all. You get them to write it. Maybe you write the foreword to the book, and that's all you have to write. You get them to write their own stories. And then again, I would either yourself edit the whole book through after they've written, just to make sure there's a flow and there's a tone of voice throughout the book. You don't want to, if you give one story to one person and their language isn't very good, then that's going to pull the standard of the book down. So you want to either edit it yourself to just make sure that each story reads well, or again, you hire an editor to do it for you. Okay, but that's something you can do quite quickly as long as people get their stories into you on time, and then you don't have to do much of the writing yourself. So that's another way. And then also you give your readers a lot of value because they're seeing things from many different perspectives instead of one. Now, another way you might like this one is PLR. What is PLR? PLR is public license rights. So what is this? This is a way that you can get a license to use content that's already been created and you can put your name on it. Now, what you can do is you can Google or research online the topic that you want to write about and then put PLR at the end of that search term, and it will come up with ways that you can get public license rights for books on that title. So what you're doing there is you're buying the rights to use the content. It's just a small fee. It won't cost you an awful lot. And you get those rights and you can then use that book and put your name on it and it's yours. Now, you've got to be careful when you do this that you do read the rights that you are assigned to, because different PLR contracts have different terms. So you just got to make sure that you understand what you can and you cannot do with that content. So some of them say that you can't do anything with the content. You've got to publish it as it is, but you can change out your name. All right. Others say that you can edit, change it as you want, you give it a different cover, make it completely your brand, put your name on it, and completely edit everything in the content. You can go to town and edit as much as you like. So, but you could use that then as a starting block. The content's already there, then you can make it your own. So that's something that you can do as well. All right. So I hope I've given you some ideas for how to write a book. It's not as scary as you think. It is going to give you that authority that we talked about with your personal brand. And it's something that I would recommend that if you're wanting to build your personal brand, you consider writing just at least one book. You probably get the bug after you've done one and then you want to write another and another. And, then there's how do you then get it published? There's a whole series of things around how you get it published. And whether you want to do it on Amazon, whether you want to find a publisher, whether you want to go to a vanity press. And I'll cover that in a different video. But for now, just know that if you can just work on getting that book out of your head and down onto the computer and ready to be published, you can be seen much more quickly as an authority in your space because you are an author. All right. If you have liked this today and you like this today and you want to learn more from me, then don't forget to subscribe to the channel, ring the bell that's around here as well so you get notifications when I put up a new video. And I'd love for you to come back regularly and consume everything that I'm putting on this channel.